Good day everyone. Today we'll discuss the introduction to Z transform. Continuous and discrete time signals. First we discuss continuous time signals. Most signals in the real world are continuous time as the scale is infinitesimally fine. Example of continuous time signals are voltage and velocity. This is denoted by xt, where the time interval may be bounded or infinite. So this is the graph for a continuous time signal. Discrete time signals. Some real-world and many digital signals are discrete time as they are sampled. Examples of these are pixels, daily stock price, or anything that a digital computer processes. This is denoted by xn, where n is an integer value that varies discretely. This is the figure for the discrete time signal. As you can see, we have sampling. And then we now proceed to the continuous and discrete time systems. First, continuous time systems. A continuous time system is where the input and output signals x and y are continuous time signals. For continuous time systems, the Laplace transform is a valuable aid in the analysis. Discrete time systems, on the other hand, this is where the input and output signals are discrete time signals or sequences. And the use of Z transform is introduced to solve difference equations. A difference equation is used in modeling discrete time systems. Now we proceed to a brief discussion about sequences. A finite sequence xk from 0 to n is an ordered set of n plus 1 real or complex numbers. That is xk from 0 to n, that is equal to x0, x1, x2 up to xn. If the number of elements in the set is infinite, then this leads to the infinite sequence xk from 0 to infinity, that is equal to x0, x1, x2, and so on. And when dealing with sampled functions of time t, it is necessary to have a means of allowing for t is less than 0. To do this, we allow the sequence of numbers to extend to infinity on both sides of the initial position x0. And we write in this form. We have xk from negative infinity to infinity. Sequences xk from negative infinity to infinity for which xk is equal to 0, that is for k is less than 0, are called causal sequences. Definition of Z transform. The Z transform of a sequence xk from negative infinity to infinity is defined in general as the Z transform of xk from negative infinity to infinity is equal to x of Z. That is equal to the sum from k is equal to negative infinity to infinity of x sub k divided by z raised to k. This is equation 3.1. Whenever the sum exists and where z is a complex variable as yet undefined. The process of taking the z transform of a sequence produces a function of a complex variable z, whose form depends upon the sequence itself. It is usual to refer to xk and xz as a z transform pair, which is sometimes written in this form. For sequences xk from negative infinity to infinity that are causal, that is your xk is equal to 0, where k is less than 0, the z transform reduces to the z transform of xk from 0 to infinity is equal to xz is equal to the sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of x sub k divided by z raised to k. This is equation 3.2. In this module, we will be concerned with causal sequences, and the definition above will be the one that we shall use henceforth. So take note that we will be using equation 3.2 as the definition of your Z transform, and we'll be using that for solving for z transform of a given sequence. So from now on, we take xk to denote xk from 0 to infinity. Example 1, determine the z transform of the sequence xk is equal to 2 raised to k, where your k is greater than or equal to 0. For the solution of our example, from the definition, your z transform of 2 raised to k is equal to the sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of 2 raised to k over z raised to k. So we will write this 2 raised to k over z raised to k by using laws on exponents. So we now have 2 over z raised to k, and then which we recognize as a geometric series with common ratio 2 over z between the successive terms. The series thus converge for the absolute value of z is greater than 2. When your sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of 2 over z raised to k, that is equal to the limit of your 1 minus the quantity 2 over z raised to k divided by 1 minus 2 over z, where your k approaches infinity. So when your k approaches infinity, this 2 over z raised to k is now equal to 0. So we now have 1 over 1 minus 2z, which leads now to the z transform of 2k is equal to, or I mean the z transform of 2 raised to k, that is equal to z over z minus 2. And your absolute value of z is greater than 2. We can now generalize the result we obtained from the first example, that is in equation 3.3, in an obvious way to determine for the z transform of a raised to k. The z transform of the sequence a raised to k, where a is a real number or a complex constant, at once z transform of a raised to k is equal to the sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of a raised to k divided by z raised to k. That is now equal to 1 over 1 minus a over z, where the absolute value of z must be greater than the absolute value of a. So that your z transform of a raised to k is equal to z over z minus a, where the absolute value of z is greater than absolute value of a. This is now equation 3.4. Example 2 show that the z transform of negative 1 half raised to k is equal to 2z over 2z plus 1, where your absolute value of z is greater than 1 half. Taking a is equal to negative 1 half in equation 3.4, we now have the z transform of negative 1 half raised to k is equal to the sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of negative 1 half raised to k over z raised to k, which now lead to z divided by z minus the quantity negative 1 half, where your absolute value of z is greater than 1 half. So that your z transform of negative 1 half raised to k is now equal to 2z over 2z plus 1, where again, the absolute value of z is greater than 1 half. Further, z transform pairs can be obtained from equation 3.4 by formally differentiating with respect to a, which for the moment we regard as a parameter. This now gives the derivative of z transform of a raised to k with respect to a, that is the z transform of the derivative of a raised to k. So we have the derivative of z over z minus a with respect to a, where your absolute value of z is greater than absolute value of a, which now leads to the z transform of ka raised to k minus 1 is equal to z over z minus a squared, where your absolute value of z is greater than the absolute value of a. This is now equation 3.5. In the particular case where a is equal to 1, this now gives us the z transform of k, or that is a constant, that is equal to z over z minus 1 squared, where your z, the absolute value of z, is greater than 1. This is now equation 3.6. Third example, find the z transform of the sequence 2k is equal to 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. From equation 3.6, the z transform of k is equal to the sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of k over z raised to k, that is equal to z over z minus 1 squared. And then using the definition from equation 3.1, we now have your z transform of your sequence is equal to 0 plus 2 over z plus 4 over z squared plus 6 over z cubed plus 8 over z to the fourth, and so on. So that's now equal to 2 times the sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of k over z raised to k. So that the z transform of 2k is equal to 2 times the z transform of k. That's now equal to 2z over the square of z minus 1. This example demonstrates the linearity property as shown in this one, since we have 2 times the z transform of k. That is from the z transform of 2k. So this now demonstrates the linearity property of the z transform, and we shall consider that further in the next lesson. A sequence of particular importance is the unit pulse or impulse sequence. We have delta k is equal to 1. This is equal to 1, 0, 0, and so on. It follows directly from the definition at equation 3.4 that your z transform of delta k is equal to 1. We now proceed to sampling. Sequences are often generated in engineering applications through the sampling of continuous time signals described by functions f of t of a continuous time variable t. The figure shown illustrates the idealized sampling process in which a continuous time signal f of t is sampled instantaneously and perfectly at uniform intervals t, which is called the sampling interval. The idealized sampling process generates the sequence f of kt is equal to f of 0, f of t, f of 2t, up to f of nt, and so on. Using definition 3.1, we can take the z transform of the sequence 3.9 to give us z transform of f of kt is equal to the sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of f of kt divided by z raised to k whenever the series converges. Example, the signal f of t is equal to e raised to negative t times h of t is sampled at intervals t. What is the z transform of the resulting sequence of samples? Solving this example, sampling the causal function f of t generates now the sequence f of kt is equal to f of 0, f of t, f of 2t, up to f of nt, and so on. We now have f of kt is equal to 1. Then we have e raised to negative t, and then e raised to negative 2t, e raised to negative 3t, and so on, up to e raised to negative nt, and so on. Then using 3.1, the z transform of f kt is equal to the sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of e raised to negative kt over z raised to k. This is now equal to the sum from k is equal to 0 to infinity of the quantity e raised to negative t over z raised to k. So that the z transform of e raised to negative kt is equal to z over z minus e raised to negative t. where the absolute value of z is greater than e raised to negative t. That ends our discussion for z transform.